Hey guys, thanks for visiting us at Sister Night Podcast. Please don't forget to visit our Facebook and Instagram at Sister Night Pod. And you can follow us at our blog at sisternightpodcast.com. And now onto our show.
Welcome to Sisters Night, our weekly podcast show where we discuss pop culture, the latest happenings, and dish advice on all things from love and relationships, business and career, and adulting in your 20s and 30s. My name is Maddie, and joining me every week are my sisters Cindy and Charlotte. Behind the scenes, we also have our brother Josh, who's in charge of all the sound editing stuff.
Hey,
how are you?
Good night. How are you guys?
Good. Welcome back. Last week was fun, but we were missing our Cindy, and she's back.
Welcome back.
Thank you. I'm glad to be back on the show. I really was missing last week's, but I listened to the podcast with just the two sisters, and I absolutely loved it, and I loved everything you guys covered last week. So I was really missing you guys, and I'm glad to be back.
We're glad to have you back. I mean, it was fun last week, right, Ashley? But it's nice to have that third opinion.
Yes, I know. It was like hard to get used to bouncing just on two, just us two. So we're so used to doing the third person, but we're glad to be back to our norm, and we're ready to get started.
So, Cindy, since you weren't here last week, why don't you fill us in on what's been going on with you?
Well, this past week has been all about my new job and acclimating to work, and it's really been a challenge because it's been going from, a medicine and part of the hospital to post-anesthesia care unit. So anybody and everybody that comes through the OR comes to me first, and it's just really a different type of nursing. And not only that that part is challenging, but also with the different people down here. It's so different how we think and talk and act up north versus the people down here in the south. It's a completely different world. So for me, it has been a bit of a challenge. I mean, I haven't made any friends yet, even though, I'm a friendly person and I say hey to everyone. I still haven't found like my rhythm and swing on how, on fitting in my unit.
Yeah. It takes a while. I didn't start making friends at my job for like a couple years. But I mean, it takes a while until you get comfortable with people. And with the workplace, you have to be careful too, making friends.
Yeah.
Right.
Not everyone can be trusted, unfortunately. There's a lot of competition, and you just have to be very careful before you let too many people in.
Right.
Yeah, Ashley, what about you? How you been this last week?
Oh, this last week I have been so grateful and counting down to my trip to Jamaica. I'm so exhausted.
That's exciting.
We're actually 1 week away. Today is Tuesday. We're recording on Tuesday, and May 1st, next Monday, we are going to be a new company. So this is like the ticking time, the last hour to get certain things in order for my job.
Wow.
So I've been running around. Not only that, but I've been training. So I've been doing her job and mine as well. So that has been kind of
stressful.
Yes, to say the least.
Well, I know, because sometimes I call you at work and I haven't been able to really get a hold of you this week.
I didn't even know. Nobody told me that you were calling me. I'm so sorry. But yeah,
Yeah. No, it's okay.
So busy.
What was I gonna say? Is anything about your job gonna change on May 1st? Like, besides changing companies, like anything about your job description or your job responsibilities that are gonna change?
Yeah, actually, each company has it's structured slightly different. I'm sure for the most part, since, one dialysis clinic needs just about the same staff as others, but the responsibilities are different. And this is a huge company. It's actually, with our acquisition, it now makes them the largest dialysis company worldwide.
Wow.
Yeah, so we're it's a huge company.
You're the Walmart of dialysis.
Yeah,
centers.
I think so. How about you, Maddie?
So,
what did you do this week?
This week I've actually I feel like I'm still getting my groove back. I started my photography season. I've had gigs before, but now for the next couple of weekends I have gigs every weekend. So now my busy season's coming up. So we'll see how that goes. It was nice to shoot. I did a portrait session for a family. I met up with some friends over the weekend. Met up with Siobhan and her daughter and with Jonas, and it was fun because it was kind of like a baby play date and a mommy date. It was a mommy date, and that was fun. And I also met up with Auntie Dawn, and we went out to eat at this great little restaurant here in Bloomfield called Anthony's Cheesecake. It's a little mom and pop place, but I love it. The breakfast is awesome. They just have so many creative things on the menu. So any local people, I definitely recommend it. I want to shout them out because every time we go there, it's just awesome. The service awesome. And, I like supporting small business like that, especially when the service is great that way. So, Anthony's Cheesecake in Bloomfield. But other than that, I've just been low-key this weekend. I met with friends. I chilled at home. It was nice. It was kind of nice to feel like myself again.
Yeah.
Nice.
Get a semblance of your old life back.
Yeah, definitely. For a while, I just felt like I was Jonas's chauffeur, carting him from mom's house, to my in-laws' house, from mom's house to my in-laws' house. So it was nice to meet friends, and I have dates on the calendar with other friends. So it's nice to feel like myself. And of course, sometimes I bring Jonas with me, sometimes I don't. But it just feels nice to have my own social life back as well. So we'll see. Looking forward to more of that now that the weather's getting warm.
Yeah, and that's so important too. So
yeah,
summer's
yeah,
coming.
well, yeah. So I guess now, Cindy, do you want to lead the way?
Yeah, we are. It's time for El Bochinche.
We missed that last week.
I know we did miss that. We just kind of segued into that. We missed the little El Bochinche shout out.
So this week, I want to just start off by saying something very interesting happened. And it was Bill O'Reilly. Those who are into politics, or maybe not into politics, I think most people in this world know who Bill O'Reilly is. Very famous show host, and on Fox News.
Yeah, the O'Reilly Factor.
The O'Reilly Factor, and he was fired from Fox News this week. And I want to start off by saying those that don't know, you're gonna know now. I am a Republican. I do consider myself very conservative when it comes to politics. I am socially liberal, but I am financially conservative. So take
you're
it as
fiscally conservative, but
fiscally conservative, and I'm socially liberal, but I'm more conservative than liberal. So anyhow, that being said, and I want to say that first, I did not like Bill O'Reilly. I have a lot of my other Republican friends that do. One particular friend, shout out to Tom. Tom, I used to work with, and he, was a big Bill O'Reilly fan. Another shout out to my father-in-law, AD. Shout out AD. He loves Bill O'Reilly too. And when this whole debacle came on, they were over for lunch on last weekend, And the subject came up because he watches Bill O'Reilly all day long, you know, even reruns and stuff, like records it and whatever. So he's like, oh, you know, only 9 people. No one cares about that. This is before he got fired. He's like, no one cares about that. Only like 9 people care about that. That's not going to affect his job. It's not going to affect his career. He's going on and on and on. And then next thing you know, it comes out that he was fired. And so I, of course, said, you know, that's not true. You know, sexually harassing women is not, you know, that's not cool. I'm going back and forth with him, you know, at the dinner table. Anyway, so then when he gets fired, I text him, your boy got fired. And he was like, yeah, I think, he's like, yeah, I saw that. I guess it was bad for business. I was like, you think? But, you know.
Well, I mean, in AD's offense, why would he think that would affect when our president, you know, pretty much sexually harassed women on tape, and he was recorded saying it? And it's like, you know, unfortunately in this day and age where we live in, sexually harassing someone is not that big of a deal.
And I have to go back to saying this. I don't know if you remember this a few weeks ago from an old podcast. I say that the old generations are still here. We're still dealing with a lot of baby boomers. And I hate saying this because, you know, I take care of a lot of baby boomers at work and whatever. And I interact with them on a daily basis. But they have an old way of thinking, you know what I mean? The women, that comes from an era where women didn't even have women rights like that. You know, women were expected to be in the house, taking care of the house, you know what I mean? So women are not as seen as valuable or as a precious, you know what I mean, asset.
It's the old boys club.
Yes. It's
That's
the old
what
boys
it is.
club. That's perfect way of saying it. And again, he brings that from his generation, you know, like, oh, it's not a big deal, like whatever, it's okay, he could do a little sexual harassment, no big deal. And you know, it's gone in his face, it is a big deal. And your age is coming out, you know, the light is dwindling on your age, and the newer ages are coming to light.
I couldn't be happier that he was fired. I mean, Bill O'Reilly, regardless of whether you're Republican or Democrat, he's said some really awful things. He has said some really awful things, like, you know, with regards to Michelle Obama, when she talked about slaves building the White House, he said, well, at least they were well-fed and decent lodgings for those slaves.
Wow.
Other things that he said that have been like terrible. Oh yes, Bill O'Reilly. He said about the Jewish holidays and why, you know, people were complaining that they weren't recognized. He said, overwhelmingly, America is Christian. If you're really offended, you should go to Israel then. And just really stupid things that I just feel like he had no place in.
I think
he was the voice of the Republicans. Like, the Republicans should be ashamed of themselves because you don't conduct yourself that way.
Again, I go back to this. Republican Party is right now symbolized by an old group of people, an old generation with old ideals. There's different Republicans. There's different younger Republicans that are emerging up with different ideals. Not so much embedded into what was going on at the time, what's going on in our time right now. You know what I mean? They grew up with the time of, slavery and maybe depression and maybe just different ideals. Women not as in the workforce. You know, our younger generation is completely different. So, I mean, and Bill O'Reilly just gives me a sour taste in my mouth because, again, he just says so many stupid things. You know, it's just like Trump. If you would just shut the hell up, you know what I mean? Maybe, you know, what you're saying would come through and make a little bit more sense. But because you're talking out of your ass, you know, people don't take you seriously. And you really have.
Well, apparently a lot of people take him seriously. He's been on Fox News for 20 years.
Yeah, I was going to say, go ahead. I was going to say that he also brought in quite a bit of money. I was looking at this article, and it says that in 2015 alone, he brought in Fox News Channel $178 million just in ad revenue. I'm like, wow. That's a lot of money. I wonder
It is.
how they're going to
But
fare
look,
after.
who's watching Bill O'Reilly? Please tell me who watches Bill O'Reilly on night. Who was watching it at night?
Well, I don't.
I don't.
I don't either. Exactly. The people that's giving him these revenues are the baby boomers. That's what I'm saying. The people that are, up, they can't miss an episode like AD. He loves his Bill O'Reilly. You know what I mean? I don't know what he's going to do with his nights from here on out. But, those are the people that they were supporting him and he got that support. But see, that times are changing. And I mean, it's going to take a little bit, but times are changing to acclimate our generation, our younger generation more. And I think that's just a hope.
I'm glad. I'm glad that, again, their sexual harassment allegations, we don't know if they're true or not, but the end effect is most important here. I do
have to preface by saying that I heard that another news channel was gonna probably pick him up. You know what I mean?
Possibly,
Fox News had to let him go. Maybe they got tired of paying women off or whatever. But eventually, someone else might pick him up, and that, may not be a surprise to us either if that happens in the near future.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. There's always sharks waiting for the next.
Yeah, I mean, he still has a fan following. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's got a podcast too, apparently. He went on his podcast to say...
Oh, he has books.
He's not over yet.
Yeah, I mean, he has books. He has a fan following. So I'm sure these people are going to still follow him and into the other, whatever news channel that picks him up. But, it just shows to you that at least they're not... I mean, it gives us a thread of hope, I think, for the future. That sort of behavior is not tolerated,
Yeah.
So, that's all I have to say.
Very interesting, right? Speaking about influential people, Time Magazine came out with their annual 100 most influential people. You guys want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. Yes. I mean, there was a lot of really interesting people on the list this year. So with Time Magazine, they say the 100 most influential people, and they don't necessarily talk about influence necessarily being a positive influence. It's just people that have influenced our culture, politics. They have just influenced everything in our world. In the last year. So it's interesting. You get an interesting mix of people on it. Anyone in particular that you guys want to talk about?
I definitely want to talk about Ivanka Trump on there because I feel like my position on her has changed since this election and since her father started becoming the president of the United States. When he was first running, I felt like I looked into her a little bit more. Obviously, she had her clothing line. She was a businesswoman for a long time before he decided to run for president. And I always thought, she looked very appropriate. I looked at articles about her company and it seemed very woman-centric. But then, as the election went through and I heard her supporting her husband and stand for a lot of things that I myself don't stand for, I find that my view on her, yes, my view on her has changed. I'm not against her, but I'm not necessarily out there purchasing Ivanka Trump for the sake of having Ivanka Trump. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Items. I'm not out there.
Yeah, I think I was on the same boat too. I always saw her. I didn't know much about her, but she wasn't like other mogul daughters. She didn't go through a Paris Hilton phase or anything like that, where she was a hot mess in the media. She always seemed like she carried herself really well. And I think that's, to me, she's like a sheep in wolf's clothing because she carries herself so well. She's not one to sleep on. And I don't know whether she should have been on that list, but whether she was influential or whether she's gonna be influential coming down the line, I don't think she's one to sleep on, because Donald Trump may be real loud and overbearing, and Ivanka Trump pretty much preaches his policies, preaches what he's talking about, but she presents it in a nicer way, in a nicer package. So that's why I say she's like the wolf in sheep's clothing. So I would keep a watchful eye for her. But like, she wasn't the only one on the list. Her husband Jared was on there, and so was Donald. So I feel like the Trumps somewhat paid Time Magazine for a couple of slots on that list. But besides them, another person that kind of caught my eye was Chance the Rapper. He was in the Pioneer section, and I learned a lot about him because I read the article, and I didn't know that he streams his music online instead of selling it. Did you guys know that?
No,
I had no idea. Streamed it online?
Huh?
Like it's free?
Yeah. So instead of selling his album, he streams his music online. They're saying that his music is more from a Christian perspective, and that he gives a lot of it back to Chicago, his community. Oh, I mean, yeah. I knew
that. Yeah,
I knew that.
Yo,
I didn't really know too much about him, but I found that really interesting. So I'm going to have to look into him a little more, because I'm down for that.
Well, you know, I'm a big hip-hop fan, so Chance the Rapper is not one of the hip-hop artists I would gravitate for right away, but I do love his one song. I mean, I feel like he came out with one single, and he won he won a Grammy and off of the one single. But that being said, he pushes a religious agenda, in the sense, you know what I mean? Like, he's
very Christian.
He is very Christian. He is loud and he's proud, and it reflects in his music. I enjoy that, because rap has negative connotations, and it does talk about a lot of the hood and trapping and all these negative and bad things that people view as, you know, bad. And I think it's very refreshing, you know what I mean, to hear
it's a different voice,
right? And to hear that same sort of music, same beats, but in a different way. So I truly enjoy him as well.
What was I gonna say? Do you guys remember Jesus Walks With Me?
Yeah.
Kanye song.
Kanye West. Yep.
I'm like Kanye. Kanye used to be like this, so who knows what will be in Chance's future?
Yeah.
Chance the Rapper, I believe appeared in one of Kanye's singles. People hate on Kanye all the time, but his last album was very Christian oriented too. And I feel like, you know, all this stuff in the media where they're showing him, oh, he's having a meltdown, but it's, you know, you have to understand that he's going through a transformation. He came from the church, and he really was, you know, grew up in that, and then he was like, I guess in parentheses, you know, sold his soul to the devil for fame and fortune, but now he's having like a turning point. Yeah, he's having a turning point in his life, and it's reflecting through his music, because that's what artists do.
I mean, I like Kanye, and I don't like everything he does personally, but I do like his music. But I do remember back when he was more of a conscious rapper, and I missed that Kanye. So yeah,
that's what made him stand out. Yeah, definitely.
Any other person on the list? I got a couple ones, but I don't want to dominate.
I mean, there's definitely a couple. We were in Pioneers for now. Can we move on to artists? Because there's a couple of artists that I want to talk about.
Of course.
Alicia Keys was voted. Demi Lovato was voted.
I know. She did that whole no makeup movement.
Yeah.
Alicia Keys.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
That was great.
It's still going strong. I think she's still makeupless.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. I really, even though I'm a makeup lover, I love that she did that, because I think it empowers women to know that that doesn't make them beautiful.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah. So Alicia Keys, Demi Lovato was on there, Ed Sheeran was on there, John Legend was on there, Margot Robbie was on there, Ryan Reynolds. There's a lot of people on here, but
do you guys agree with all of these people being influential in this year? I would say Ed Sheeran, to me, I mean, was pretty influential. John Legend, I feel like,
I like John Legend. I thought he was very influential. He came out
last year or in the last year.
Yes,
It's
he came
funny.
out with a song that.
I think that he's influential, even though he's a musician. I feel like a lot of the influence he has is more political. I think he's had a pretty
more socially active.
Yes, or
like
on social, like as an activist.
Him and his wife.
Yes, him.
I was gonna say, I feel like Chrissy Teigen might have been more influential because she's got like this major Twitter and Instagram following, and she just speaks her mind, and people just eat it up.
Yeah. Well,
so
it helps to have that adorable baby.
Yeah. Who else was on the list?
I like
James,
the CEO of Amazon. What's the name? I just saw it here. Oh my goodness, hold on.
CEO of Amazon?
Jeff Bezos. I'm probably skipping categories.
Oh yeah, on Titans.
I have to say, I've been living off of Amazon. I mean, I don't think there's a greater invention. It should be like my weekly obsession every week. I love Amazon so much.
I know, you and everybody else. I know. Amazon
I mean,
Prime.
seriously.
I don't remember a time before Amazon Prime. Do you guys?
No.
I do, and life was much less sad. I mean, it was much more sad.
But I mean, he is amazing because what he's done is taken commercialism to the next level. Basically, having so much access. He even came out with sending you a little button. So if you feel like you need to,
you're low.
Yeah.
I was thinking about doing that for the dog food, since we get our dog food from Amazon, and when we're low, Cleaver's always like, oh, can you order on Amazon? And I'll be like, okay, but sometimes I forget. But if we had the little button by the dog food, that's it. It would just purchase.
Yeah.
Right.
What he's done is by the one click, you know how they do that one click buy, is to remove steps between you and the cash register. Because when you go to the grocery store, you walk around and you're looking, but there's steps between you and paying for it. So sometimes I don't know, I'm sure most people have gone to the store and picked up like an extra bag of goodies, and then right when you're at the cash register, you decide, you know what, I don't need that anymore. And
that's true.
What he's done is decrease the time between you choosing to look at the item,
and you paying
for it.
Yeah. So the less
that happens to me all the time when I go to the store. Maybe not so much the grocery store, but when I go clothes shopping and I grab a couple things, and then I'm sitting there. It happens a lot at Forever 21. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, you know what? I don't really need this.
Exactly.
I don't really love this so much because the line is so long and you have time to like really process your purchases, and then you're just like, I don't like this. And then sometimes you might be just like, to hell with it. I'm not getting anything. Let me get the hell out of here.
Exactly.
Right.
So
he has changed retail to a whole other level.
Right.
I think Amazon has. Yeah.
And
so he definitely deserves to be on the list.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Well, from a minimal standpoint, like I don't know that that's the best thing. Like he's just, but as
he's the enemy.
Yeah, he's kind of the enemy. But as a businessman, he definitely created a new standard, and everybody else is trying to meet Amazon to that standard. Now you start seeing other companies trying to create the same atmosphere, but no one comes close. Everybody just goes to Amazon, and it's expanding.
It's convenience.
You know what it is too? I mean, like Amazon, you can get anything on there. Like I bought some bras for work, like little sports bras.
I bought a maternity dress. Well, the maternity dress I used in my shoot. I bought a maternity dress for a wedding, and at the same time I buy dog food. Like, and everything comes in 2 days.
There's a buy one. It's like click click for buy it right away. Like, oh my goodness, you just have to click, your information is already plugged in, and it's like done. You know, it comes in 2 days, or even 1 day. You know, sometimes you have that 1 day shipping. Oh my God, it is.
And they ship on Saturdays and Sundays, so you don't even have to wait till the next business day. Sometimes it comes over the weekend.
Moving to North Carolina has been a gem, Amazon, because everything takes me half an hour to drive, and I'm like, do I have to go to the store? No, I just get it in can it wait a day? It can.
Yeah. Amazon. Wow. Yeah. Who else was on the list? Pope Francis. I know we're not Catholic, but what do you guys think about the Pope? I kind of like this Pope. Not that it really affects me, but I feel like he's very progressive on social issues, and I think that's good to see from the world leaders. What do you think? Is that
it's not that I don't have
what? That wasn't what I was expecting. Tell me why. Tell me where the grunts come from.
I hesitate to even comment on this because I feel like maybe I'm biased when it comes to religion. But I've always thought it was very odd how one leader has so much influence. You know what I mean? A religious leader has so much influence. I don't see any other religious leaders being quoted on CNN consistently, and you know what I mean?
Well, the Pope has always been an influential leader, but at the very least, this Pope is preaching different things than the other Pope. Now, if you ask Mom this question, she'd probably be like, oh, you know, she would be grunting like you guys too for other reasons. But, you know, this Pope is, you know, I wouldn't say he's supportive of gay rights, but he's more gay friendly.
But it's almost out of necessity, though. It's like, if he isn't, he doesn't have a church. It's like, I feel like he has no choice but to be more progressive because the world is changing, and if the church doesn't change with it, it will become obsolete. And that's the truth. You know,
that's a true statement.
Baby boomers were raised Catholic and all that, but our new generation doesn't embrace religion. It embraces spirituality. So if the church doesn't become progressive along with the generation, it will become completely obsolete. So when he says stuff like that, I'm like not even surprised. Like, you're adapting, you're evolving out of necessity,
to keep the influence.
Absolutely.
Well, they're a business. Point. I think all main religions are businesses. You know what I mean? You have to pay your dues. You have to, I don't know. I mean, they have a building to maintain, a corporation. Like even the Seventh-day Adventist Church, there's a conference, I guess. You know, they have a hierarchy of people. You know, you have your church pastor, but then you have the pastor of the conferencia or whoever. You know what I mean? The head of the church. And, you know, they have. It's a business, so they have to maintain their business. And like Ashley said, she has a very good point that if you're not changing with the times, your business is gonna, you know, it's gonna die out.
Yeah, well, I mean, you guys are very cynical, but I appreciate your point. It's a different point, but yeah, it's a little cynical way to look at the world, but you bring up very interesting points, so I won't fault you that. Other people on the list: Simone Biles, the gymnast, USA. She did really well over the summer. RuPaul, Ashley Graham, the plus size model.
Leslie Jones on that?
I'm sorry?
Leslie Jones? Isn't
Leslie Jones the Ghostbuster?
She's the one that, she's been SNL. She's
she was on there.
Yep.
So there was a lot of good people. Neymar, the Brazilian soccer player.
I also like the ladies that organizers of the Women's March were on there.
Oh yeah, it was 4 women, right?
Yeah. It was Bob Bland, Tamika Mallory, Carmen Perez, and Linda Sarzour. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. But yeah, that was very influential.
That's
crazy.
It's hard. It's crazy to think that such a big march and such a monumental day in the history of our, our country, the Women's March was like a big deal. There was millions of women
around the
across
world,
the whole country, even around the world.
Yeah.
And it started with these 4 women. So
I
definitely
think Bob
shout out
Bland
to them.
is a man. Is it 4 women or was there a man in there?
I thought it was 4 women.
Have you guys?
Well, you'll have to go to time.com and check it out. They're under Pioneers.
Have you guys seen that movie Suffragette?
No.
With the same girl who did Great Gatsby. What's her name? The actress. I forget her name.
The main character of Grace.
Isn't she the one that's married to your Mumford and Sons?
Yes. That's
What's her name? The lead singer of Mumford and Sons.
Is she really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, she is.
Yeah.
Either married or has a baby mama, one or the other.
All his songs is about her breaking his heart. I'm just kidding.
Definitely check it out. I watched that movie and it was very cool to see the beginnings of the women's movement and how hard it really, really was. We know it's hard. It's, we've been fighting tooth and nail from the very beginning, but I did like their perspective. So if you haven't watched that movie, it's a good historical, historical biofilm, I guess, right? That's what they call them. Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess that's it for the Bochincha, right, girls?
Yeah, I think we're done with this segment. I think we're ready for Sisters Are Doing It For Themselves.
Oh, yes. I have a really good one this week. So Sisters Are Doing It For Themselves. This week, I want to give the shout out to Serena Williams, who announced that she's expecting a baby.
Yeah.
And that she was 20 weeks pregnant. She made the big announcement on Snapchat last week, and she's 20 weeks pregnant with her fiance, who's the founder of Reddit, Alexis, I don't know if I'm saying this right, Ohanian. But they look like a cute couple. She seems like a lot of woman for him, but they seem very happy. and the reason why I'm doing a Sisters Are Doing It For Themselves for her, not so much because she's pregnant, even though that's a beautiful thing, but it's no reason for accolades. The reason why is because she won the Grand Slam. So for people that don't know about tennis, the Grand Slam is 4 titles: the Australian Open, the French Open, Wimbledon, and US Open. So she won those 4 things. The Australian Open Grand Slam, that was like the final game back in January, and she was still she was pregnant during that time.
That's crazy.
So that is amazing. And that was her 23rd Grand Slam.
Wow.
So she won those 4 Opens 23 times.
Wow.
And she was pregnant.
And she was pregnant. So this was her 23rd win. And I think that's amazing because when I was pregnant, I was so sleepy those first few weeks that I was pregnant. Like, they were the hardest out of the whole pregnancy.
And sleepy, you got it off easy. Like, most women get really bad, like, morning
sickness. For me it was just
headaches and stuff.
For me, it was just the tiredness. You're right. I got off easy. But for a lot of women, it's a lot worse. And for her to be able to do that during those first couple of weeks was awesome. So shout out to her. We wish her a very healthy pregnancy. And I'm looking forward to seeing, what if she has a little girl, which I think it would be cute for her to have a little girl. I mean, I would love to see another Black, strong, beautiful, athlete, another woman, so I think I like Serena. I don't know about you guys, but I think she's awesome.
She's
very
just
a strong female.
Yes,
she is, and she's strong female. She doesn't kind of put herself in a box. She's sexy. She was in Beyonce's video and she was like twerking. She was like winning titles and being at the top of her game. She's sponsored and a businesswoman. Like, I just like her. She's, I think, a great human being and a great example for women. So shout out to Serena. So
So
The next thing we're gonna do is have the Ask the Sisters segment, and this week we have a listener's question.
Yes, we have a listener's question. And Charlotte, actually, this one was geared for you, Maria, who follows us on Instagram. For anyone that doesn't know, we have an Instagram. It's Sister Night Pod, so check us out there. Maria asked Charlotte, who is into minimalism, how do you deal with the temptation of buying stuff? And so, Charlotte, give her your answer, and then Cindy and I will try our best from a non-minimalist point of view to answer as well.
That is such an excellent question, because I feel like it's something that you have to fight on every day. I use the word fight because it is constantly bombarding you. Everywhere you go, as soon as you pick up your phone, as you leave the house, there is America is the marketing capital. Yes, it is. And I feel like, especially like in the northeast where we are, we're a more concentrated area, so we have a lot targeted at us. And what I've done, and I'm still doing, I am trying to take a lot of obstacles out of my way, or constant reminders out of my way. I'll go through a couple of them. I have unsubscribed to all of the ads, like all of the stores.
Oh, I have to take the time to do that.
Yes, like all of my favorite
junk mail.
Yeah, all of my favorite stores that I used to love to get those emails for coupons or whatever. I don't need a coupon if I'm not buying something that I don't need. If you have everything in your closet that you need on a day-to-day basis, you don't really need a coupon to buy something that you don't need later. So I've unsubscribed to all of those. I don't have those flooding my email anymore. I just send them to spam, or I unsubscribe. I don't have TV. Cable, I should say. I have an actual television, but I don't have cable, so I'm not watching all of those shows anymore, which are constantly streamed in with commercials. Radio, I hardly listen to the actual radio anymore. I use Spotify, definitely listen to podcasts or audiobooks without any commercials, and that helps a lot. I don't buy any coffee. I find that when you're in the store buying coffee, they're also selling you other things. So if you kind of find, you'll see as your day goes on, as you become more conscious, minimalism is also about living your life intentionally. You want to do everything in your day has to be with intention. So every day I wake up and my intention is not to spend money, it's to live my life. So I plan accordingly. So if you know where you're spending your money, I did a couple of videos on this, but one of the ways that you can stick to your budget is knowing where your money is spent. So you simply looking through your bank statements or your receipts. If you're spending money at Amazon consistently, you may want to
Get rid of Amazon?
Not get rid of Amazon. No. I'm not saying.
That's why Cindy and I are not minimalists.
Right, exactly.
Maybe just limit yourself to the times that you order from Amazon. Give it, like, if you order 3 or 4 times a week, maybe just try doing it 1 time a week, and order whatever you need to order that one day, and just try that as an experiment and see how you fare, because they say a lot of people who are in debt in America, it's not that they're making a lot of big purchases. It's small purchases of under $40 just consistently. Oh, wow. And if you add $40, $20 here or there, it adds up to a lot of money. So one of the ways that I've dealt with temptation is just simply taking the temptation out. And then the other suggestion that I wanted to make to Maria and to everybody else, I did also make a video on this, is 3 questions to ask yourself before you make any purchase, I do have to stop saying I really, really do.
I've tried to be more conscious about that this episode too.
I'm trying to be speaking with more intent. So, first question is, do you need it? That's simple and basic. You think it's very, very simple, but how many times do we go to the store and buy something that we don't need? Need and identifying what you want and need is two different things, Do you need the extra bra with extra support that is, strapless, or do you just want that option? Do you have a strapless bra? Will it suffice for now? Yeah, it will. So don't buy it unless you absolutely need it. So a lot of those things I've taken out, they have gotten eliminated just by that first question. Can you afford it? Is the second question. A lot of times you want something and you can't afford it right now. And a lot of times what we've done is make purchases on credit for now. And that's not the same. Even if you're using credit that has no interest rate, it's not the same as buying it just cash. So unless you can pay cash for it, don't buy it, because it always comes with it always comes with strings, right? Like if you can't pay for it in 6 months with 0 interest, then you have to pay like a lot of interest later. We've always gotten stuck on those purchases as well. And the third question is, if you need it and you can afford it, what is the best option? Make sure you're getting the best quality for your price as well. So shop around, don't be impulsive, which I am often impulsive about a lot of things, but becoming a minimalist, I've had to slow my roll a little bit and think before I make a lot of purchases. So that's how I deal with temptation with buying stuff.
Wow. Definitely. I like that strategy though.
Yeah. Well, I'm not a minimalist, but I wanted to chime in with just what I realized that I've done in the past. I remember a couple years ago, I was really into buying handbags, and I actually went to the mall with Siobhan and the babies this weekend, and we went into the Louis Vuitton store and the Gucci store. And I remember when I was always coveting the next handbag, and Siobhan was checking out handbags. And I remember when that used to be me. Mm-hmm. And I think the way that temptation stopped, and I used to online browse all the time, checking like when bags were going on sale. And it was like a phase. And anyway, I realized I stopped doing that when I got a hobby. When I started photography and I got more into that and blogging, I no longer had time to aimlessly browse online. Mm-hmm. So once I became busy and occupied my mind with other things, probably other more productive things, then I wasn't aimlessly looking to buy stuff online. I wasn't looking for purse deals. So I think that for me, getting a hobby, doing something productive with my time. So for me, shopping was more of a boredom thing than it was because I wanted stuff. It was to fill time at work, especially. God, I hope my bosses don't hear this. I did a lot of online shopping at work, and it was because I was bored. So now I fill my time with other things, and I really don't have that problem anymore.
Right.
It's just that disappeared for me a little bit. So maybe occupy your time listening to podcasts, looking at the news, productive reading books, starting a business if that's what you want to do. But instead of spending money, think about making money or expanding your mind. And I feel like a lot of shopping is boredom.
Yeah, it is.
Why do you buy things? Yeah. Why do you window shop? Because you're bored.
It's sometimes people use it as retail therapy, and it's not.
Yeah, something to do on a rainy day. So that worked for me. Cindy, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, actually, those both those strategies I found to be very very good. Actually, asking, Ashley's strategy, like literally asking yourself, do you need it? Do you want it? And having a hobby definitely takes up your time. I can definitely see how that would stop you from buying things, maybe impulsively that you don't need. For me, I take a completely different approach. I'm a very big goal setter, and I do well with goals. So, for instance, I do buy a lot of different skincare and beauty products. Everyone that knows me knows that. I gift a lot of it that doesn't work for me. But like last year, I took a complete year without buying any beauty products, because I had so many already that I didn't need it. And I mean, a year is a very long time for some people, but
that is a long time.
It is a long time, but I'm good with, with setting goals regardless. So for me, it's not a big deal to set a goal of a year, like, oh, and I'm not buying anything for 1 year. But like, even like a month, like this month, I told J Papa, I was like, I'm not buying anything for the month of April. You know what I mean? And, month of April comes and goes, and, I reached my goal, and I didn't, frivolously spend. I feel as though, if I went without it, like I could go the time without it. And last year was a clear example. I went like the whole year without buying any makeup. I had all the makeup I needed, because that's where I spend most of my money, is on beauty products. But I was fine. I survived. I lived. You know what I mean? No big deal. So at least for me, that reaching a goal and setting that and actually writing the goal down, because it's one thing to have a goal and put it in your mind, but if you write it down for whatever reason, for me, it's like, okay, it's in ink. It's like writing a contract. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it makes it real. It makes it official. So I write my goal, and then when I reach my goal, I delete it. You know what I mean? I check it off and I move on to the next goal.
Yeah.
And that's how I
definitely.
So you have a little competition with yourself.
Yeah, I definitely. I do like that. So, I mean, whoever, all of our listeners can adapt whichever strategy you think would work best for you. And, hopefully we can save some money.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Maria, for the question.
Yes, thank you so much for that question.
And send anyone else that have questions, please send us an email at sisternightpodcast@gmail.com, or just hit us up on Instagram, sisternightpod, and leave us your questions there.
Yes, we love answering questions.
I'm excited to see what other questions people have for ourselves.
Yeah.
And also for us to get to the game part. So let's go to our next segment, which is our weekly obsessions. Maddie, you go first. What have you been obsessing about recently?
So, I have been a longtime fan of the show Girls, and I was a little late in watching the series finale. I think I was like a week late, but I finally watched it, and I am sad to see the show go. I know it was kind of like a lot of people had a love-hate relationship with that show. Some people more hate than others, but I always liked it. I thought the finale was pretty realistic. So for people that don't know about the show Girls, do you girls watch it?
No.
My sisters,
No.
do you guys watch it? So it was a show of 4 friends that were friends in college, and they moved to the city together. And pretty much it goes through their lives together in the last couple of years in New York. And it was very similar to my story. I had a bunch of friends, and we moved to New York right after college. And I think the show went through a lot of, again, some of it's relatable, some of it's not. They went through a lot of crazy situations, which not everyone, it's a show, it's a comedy show. So, some things are over the top. But at the end of the show, and I hope I'm not spoiling anything, the girls don't end. It's not this huge, big, happily ever after like Sex in the City, or that kind of has this happy ending. A lot of them, they broke apart as friends. They went in different directions. Some of them stopped talking to each other, like pretty much hated each other. Some people, and I think that's very realistic.
Yeah.
Like even with my group of friends, like starting off in our early 20s to our later 20s, There were some friends that we just had falling outs, other friends that I'm still close with, other friends that, it was very realistic. Life moved on. We were just in different places in our lives, pursuing different interests. So, it was bittersweet to see the show end, but I was happy on the note that it ended. And it was nice to see the journey of these girls, and I'm gonna be sad to see the show go. So I like that it was an anti-Sex in the City ending, and we'll see what happens with the rest of their careers going forward. So that's my obsession of the week.
I actually would love to have a podcast about Friends, because I think that, it's true. Like, you're not going to spend the rest of your life with all of the friends that you started it with. And I think that's happened to all of us. And we always... I mean, it... Mm-hmm. No, I was just going to say, I feel like we all have the same kind of conflicting questions. Is it awful if, we kind of just let this relationship phase out? Especially if you don't feel like you have a lot in common anymore.
A whole lot in common.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny that you said that, because one of the scenes was the 4 girls. It was like the second to last show. And the 4 girls are in the bathroom together. And one of them says, we just need to call it. Like, we just need to call it right now. Like, we're not going to be friends. Like, let's just get over it. The sooner we get over it, we can move on with our lives. And it was kind of sad, but at the same time, it's such a relief.
Yeah.
When you can realize it's nothing personal. It's not, that I wish you ill or anything like that. It's just that life moves on, and we just don't have that much in common. Who we were at 20 is not who we are at 28, 29, 30, So, yeah, I liked it. I really did. I thought they did a really good job with that. So, if you're a Girls fan, check it out. If you are not a Girls fan and you're looking for a show to watch this summer when it gets slow, check it out. I liked it.
How about you, Cindy? What was your weekly obsession this week?
Well, this week my weekly obsession happened to be walking sneakers. And this is completely different for me. It's not a beauty product, but for those nurses out there, they will understand the importance of comfortable shoes at work. And when I left my other job, I had Crocs, I had scrubs, I threw it all. I don't even know what I did with it. I don't remember.
You gave them to me.
I threw out my... Oh, I did? But did I give you my Crocs?
Yeah, you gave me some Crocs. You gave me your navy blue ones and your hot pink ones.
Oh, you see? Okay, so I give them away. But I had no new things. So I went back to the Crocs store, and I bought a pair of Crocs, and I was like, this is not going to work. Like, this is just not comfortable. It wasn't my old pair that I had. So I went and I bought these sneakers called Ryka. I hope I'm saying that right. Ryka. They're walking sneakers. They're a all-women's brand. So the company makes sneakers all for women, especially for women. We have a different curvature in our feet, than men, and we sometimes more narrow feet, more whatever. We have different needs. So I love these walking sneakers that I have. They have memory foam in them, and they are so comfortable. It's like walking on a cloud, and it really is. I mean, they were like $40,
that was my next question. Yeah. What's their price point?
Oh, these were, because like I'm wearing them to work. Like I want them to be comfortable, but I'm not gonna wear, like, there's some nurses that they wear real nice sneakers to work, and I'm like, oh, those are so nice. And then I ask them how much it is, and they're like so expensive. I'm like, I'm not that kind of person. Like I don't have like all the nurses in my new unit have the Apple Watch, one of the only ones without an Apple Watch. Like, I'm not like that. I'm going to work. I'm getting dirty. I'm getting nasty in there. There's all sorts of germs. I'm wearing like the things that I hate the most. And when I come home, before I even step in the door, everything like comes off. Like, you know what I mean? So They were $40. They were $39.99. I got them at DSW, and I love them. They are so comfortable, and I mean, they're just perfect. They're exactly what I needed for work. I keep them at work in my locker, and I just love them. So I highly recommend them. I will send the link, post it up on the website. Yeah, they were
awesome.
They are excellent.
Yeah.
So. And DSW is always giving like promotions. I know Ashley deleted her subscriptions, but I still get mine $10 off. So, you know, they're always giving sales and coupons for that. So check them out.
Cool.
Awesome.
Yeah,
I know good like foot support during a long work day really can make or break your day. So that is
definitely
is so important. Well, what I have been kind of obsessed over is this gift that Madeline gave me. I think, where did you get it from, Maddie? The little.
It was a promotional gift, you know, like one of those trinkets that they give at my job.
Oh my!
to like
goodness.
clients.
Well, I absolutely love it, and I will. What it is, it's a little cell phone stand. It almost looks kind of like a clamp. Right? And it like holds your phone either in the vertical position or horizontal position. And while I'm at work, and I love it because it's like a little stand for your phone. And it's so it's small and easy to put in your purse and go. And I like it because when I'm at my desk, I don't like having my phone just anywhere. You know, I find that it will move around. People will touch my phone. I don't know about you, but I don't like that. I don't grab other people's.
People are touching your phone.
Yeah.
I feel like that.
That's like a big no-no,
not cool.
right?
I used to have people looking over my shoulder as I'm texting.
I don't
to
like
see
that
what I'm looking
either.
at.
Yeah, no.
Nosy.
What a pet peeve.
Yep.
Yeah, no. I don't like that. So I have been using the heck out of my cell phone stand. I've been working so much more than usual. So having it in front of me and available, and just I liked it nice and neat in the front, and it's very light, and you travel easy. So I loved this gift, and I definitely recommend it. I don't even know if you could buy it. Can you buy it? I'm sure there's
Well, we'll try to find
something
like,
similar.
Yeah, because it was a promotional, like one of those promotional gifts for clients. So, you know, you can't just go buy that particular one, but I'm sure they have something similar like that on Amazon. So I'll try to find something and post a link so they could see.
And I'll take a picture of my phone on the stand and maybe put it on Instagram at some point within the next week and to show you guys my cool little stand. I love it.
Cool. Well, I'm glad it was handy.
Yes, thank you so much. So now to the fun part. Cindy, you missed this last week. I introduced a new little fun game for us so we get to know each other a little bit better, and so our audience can learn more about us as well. So this is so much fun. Since you missed it last week, you're gonna go first. Are you ready?
I guess so.
Okay. Your question is, if you could be a character on any show, who would you play and which show would it be? That is such a good question, right?
Yeah, that is.
Given the fact that I don't watch a lot of TV, I'm just gonna go with something I know and I've watched over and over and over again, and that's Gossip Girl.
Really? I thought you were gonna go. You changed it on me. I thought you were gonna say like Game of Thrones or something.
Well, I mean, if I had to pick someone, do you see me being an outdoorsy person, like killing wild things? No, surely not. So I think I'm gonna go with Gossip Girl, and I'm gonna go with Blair Waldorf. And why? Because she is a spoiled rich brat in that show, and she's in love with the love of her life, and she just has this mean streak, and she's just like, I don't know, like very popular and cool. She was like the queen, and like I never was that growing up. I was always like not the non-popular, like nerdy person. So like if I had to choose, I would love to be like in her shoes to see how I don't know, see how life would be.
She also was
if I
pretty
was
badass, wasn't she?
Oh, I loved her in that show. Like, she rocked my world in that show. She was so much better than like the show. Have you guys watched Gossip Girl?
I've never watched Gossip Girl.
You have to watch it, Madeline. I probably watched it like 4 times. The entire show. Seriously. And
you're not the only one that loves that show. I know my sister-in-law got really into it too, Gossip Girl.
Oh my God. Like the main character is supposed to be Blake Lively. But Blair's character like kills it. Like just kills it. Like she's like super rich. Then she's like the queen bee. Like she has her little minions, you know what I mean, in high school. And then, you know, she just like does things to fuck with people.
But it's almost
like
she's the mafia. Like she's like the godfather of...
It sounds like Cruel Intentions to me.
Huh?
No,
it sounds like Cruel Intentions to me. The movie with Reese Witherspoon, Selma Blair,
with Ryan Felipe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
It
but
sounds
they
like
didn't
that.
have... She didn't have sex with her brother.
There's that part.
Kind of situation. But yeah, Blair Waldorf, that would be cool, and I would like to be her for a day. I don't know.
just for funsies, Madeline, you have your own question, but who would you play too? I'm interested, and I'll say mine quickly too.
Well, you say yours quickly because I didn't even think of mine.
I already know who I would play, of course. I play Charlotte in Sex and the City.
Oh, goodness.
That's cheating.
I know, seriously.
No, it's not. No, I mean, I would not just because her name is Charlotte, but because, I love Charlotte in Sex and the City. I think I loved her character. I thought she was fun. She was like, I think she came from a well-off family, but she worked, for doing something that she loved, which I thought that was very cool. I would love to do something that I love, but then at the same point, when I'm ready to have kids, I would love the honor and of being home with them and seeing them grow. It doesn't have to be in a fancy penthouse suite, but I love that the way her values, I feel like, are a little more aligned with mine. I think maybe I'm a little more conservative to her I align with her character more than the rest. So I wish I could be Charlotte from Sex and the City. All right, Madeline.
So Madeline, you're up.
Oh, my character. I'm drawing a blank. Give me my other question and I'll come back to this one as soon as I think of it.
Okay, so Maddie, your question is, if you could choose to be one age, what would it be and why?
If I could choose to be one age?
Yes. Forever. Like, say you were turning into a vampire and and you had to be your age for the rest of your life. Which age would it be?
Oh God, that's a trick question. I mean, looking back, I'd want to redo on my 20s. Because I feel like I had the independence that I didn't have when I was a teenager, but I didn't have the confidence yet in my 20s. So I feel like I want to redo that time. So if I can be frozen in time, I say your 20s because you're independent, you're sexy, and it's a fun time.
Yeah.
You can be sexy at 30.
Well, yeah, you can. But 28 sounds sexier than 33. So we're talking about frozen in time forever. So if I'm going to be frozen in time forever, then yeah, maybe like a 28, 27.
Yeah, that's a good age.
It seems like a nice, sweet spot.
Yeah, I agree. Cindy?
What's your question, Charlotte?
Oh, okay. My question is, if I was a dictator of a small nation, what crazy dictator stuff would I do?
Oh my god.
Oh my gosh. I would do... It would be mandatory to take power naps either mid-morning or like before dinner or after, we would have to take a nap. Like everybody would have to shut down for mid-naps.
Oh my god, that sounds so like you. Oh my goodness.
Definitely none of this. Like in the hospital, there's this you 3 to 11 shift and then 7 a.m. None of that. Like there would be more time in between work schedules. Like you'd have to at least give time for an 8-hour sleep and to get ready for bed and wake up and time. Like I don't want no rushing. What else would I instill? I would instill, there would have to be chocolate at least once a day. People would have to have chocolate at least once a day. What else? What other the crazy stuff would I would say?
You're already demanding like a dictator.
I would, in my little small nation, healthcare would be socialized, education would be socialized, and I guess equal political rights for all ethnic groups and sexual groups and age groups, and I guess not minors, but you know what I mean. So, I think that's what I would put in. But I guess that's not dictator, right? You can't have equal rights if you're a dictator. I don't know.
Right.
Yeah, that's a hard question.
You're the one who picked it. I was going back to the question about what show. I don't know. I was just noticing. I'm like looking through all the shows that I watch. I watch a lot of depressing, dark shows. So I'm like, no wonder I don't want to be like any of these characters. They're all messed up. They all have messed up lives. Either they're like running away from the law, they're fighting terrorists, they're like in the mafia, all this crazy stuff. I'm like, they're in jail, like just all these shows that I've been watching. I'm like, they're all...
Or you're a
like,
zombie.
Dark. Yeah, or you're a zombie. I'm like, no, I don't want to be anybody. I just... I don't really... Yeah.
You have to start watching Gossip Girl then. To get out of your rut of like depressing shows.
I don't think Madeline would like Gossip Girl though. I really don't.
She may. She liked Entourage.
I did like Entourage. Yeah, I did.
I mean, it's just a girly show. I mean, it's just funny. It's cute. And
I guess
I would.
But it's a CW show, so already off the bat I'm judging.
Yeah, well, don't judge. Just watch it. I mean, I don't know. I mean, do you always? Maybe this is this question's better for another week. But like, what do you get out of watching depressing things? Like the shows that you watch.
I don't know. I just get really into the stories and. I don't know.
That reminds me of back in the day when you used to read the serial killer books. Yeah. You scared yourself to death.
Yeah, for a while I was into serial killer, like real crime stories, serial killers, into lawyer books and trials. I have very dark interests, so I don't do a lot of, but it's funny, for a while I was into the housewives, but again, I don't think I'd want to be any of those women except for the money part, but like they're just awful human beings, but they have money.
The Desperate Housewives, right?
Yeah. The Real Housewives, Bravo
Real
shows.
Housewives, yeah,
the reality show. But yeah, I was just looking through my repertoire of shows, and they all are very dark, so I'll have to think.
So I'm glad I asked Cindy that question and not you, huh?
I know.
Yeah.
Well, that's it, guys.
Well, yeah, that's it for Sister Night tonight. Hope you guys enjoyed. We'll be back next week. Please check out our website, sisternightpodcast.com. And send us your feedback. And next week we have a really special show. We have a special guest, our first guest, And we can't wait. We have a special theme, a Mother's Day theme. So we'll leave it at that. So good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night.